Fed Chair Powell responds to White House questions about HQ renovation. In a dramatic turn of events, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has responded to a series of probing questions from the White House Office of Management and Budget Director Russell Vought regarding the renovation of the Fed's Washington headquarters. Powell directed Vought to a newly launched page on the Fed's public website dedicated to answering questions about the project, which has exceeded its budget. He also refuted allegations made by Vought that the renovated buildings will include luxurious amenities such as a private elevator, VIP lunchrooms, or a rooftop garden. Powell emphasized the importance of transparency and accountability in the Fed's decision-making process, stating, "The board believes it is of the utmost importance to provide transparency for our decisions and to be accountable to the public." However, Vaught's letter was not just a request for information. It was part of a larger pressure campaign by the White House to push Powell to leave the central bank, as President Donald Trump grows increasingly frustrated with the Federal Reserve's refusal to lower interest rates. In his letter, Vought accused Powell of grossly mismanaging the Fed and suggested that Powell had lied to Congress about the status of the construction project. Powell did not respond to these criticisms in his reply, instead explaining the reasons for the cost overruns and emphasizing the Fed's voluntary cooperation with the National Capital Planning Commission. Despite Powell's efforts to address the concerns raised by Vought, it is unlikely that his response will satisfy the White House or his critics in Congress. Vought has announced plans to visit the Fed's headquarters to see the renovation project for himself, and Republican Representative Anna Paulina Luna of Florida has called for a Justice Department investigation into whether Powell gave accurate testimony about the renovation to Congress in June. But here's where it gets controversial. Some argue that the White House's pressure campaign against Powell is an attempt to undermine the independence of the Federal Reserve, which is essential for maintaining a stable economy. Others argue that Powell has indeed mismanaged the Fed and that the renovation project is just one example of this. What do you think? Should the Federal Reserve be subject to more oversight from the White House, or should it remain independent?